Working with product photography can sometimes be a little bit challenging, but inside of ON1, it's actually pretty easy to do. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Let's go ahead and jump into the computer and take a look. So here we are inside of ON1, and as you can see, we have a product photo that I created a little while ago, and you can really see the set. So it's really important that we clean this up. So first thing I'm going to do is hit the letter C on the keyboard. This is going to bring our cropping tool up, and you can go with any format that you want. I currently have this set to 4:5, and if I wanted to, I can just shrink this in from the bottom because there really isn't any important information on the outside of this frame. So 4:5 is probably going to work just fine, and I'm even going to cut in on this board because I don't think that any of this other information is as important. What is important is that I put each of these bottles on one of these thirds. So I'm just going to pull this over to the left just a little bit here and maybe even tighten this up just a little bit more. Now, I could have used the AI crop. I'm choosing not to use the AI crop just because sometimes it's just helpful to do things yourself. If you get too used to using the AI tools inside of any software, then you'll forget how to use the things that you have available to you, and it could stifle creativity. So that's why I'm not using the AI tool. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit the blue check mark here and commit this to the frame. So now I'm actually looking at my product, and I think that things are doing pretty good here. This could have been shot a lot better. This is also not a bad shot, and we're going to kind of clean this up. First thing that I want to do is darken down the sides of this image because I think the base exposure is just fine, so I don't really need to do anything here in develop. So I'm just going to jump right into local adjustments, and we're going to add in a gradient mask. So I'm going to hit M on my keyboard twice. That gets me my gradient tool. I'm just going to click right here, rotate this around to the left. So I have the darkening effect coming in from the right side of the image, moving all the way down into the actual photo. And I'm just going to taper this off somewhere about here. It doesn't matter where I taper that off because this is a black frame or a black bottle, and you're not really going to be able to see that. So if I turn this off and turn it on, you're really just going to see that this side over here gets a little bit darker, which is great. So it's always a good idea to rename your layers. So I'll practice that. This is going to be right side, and I'll just go with something simple like that for today, but you should give your images a little bit better renaming. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing over on the left side. So I'm just going to hit the M key on my keyboard, get the masking bug, click over here one more time, rotate it around, and I think that is pretty good right there. So I think this one needs to be a little bit darker. And the reason for that, when I photographed this, I know that my light was off to camera left, and that's where we're getting this gradated light. I think I said that right. Anyway, this is where we're getting this light. So I'm just going to darken this down just a little bit so it looks like I had a little bit more control on the light instead of letting it spill all over the background. Ideally, I would have liked to block off with a black card, but I just didn't do that on the day that I shot this. So for the sake of not renaming everything, I'm not going to worry about renaming this particular layer. Now, the next thing that I want to do is kind of bring out the details that are happening in the image. And I want to do that in local adjustments. So that way, when I get to stylizing the image, it actually makes sense. So one of the best ways of bringing out detail is getting rid of distractions in the bottles or in your images. So I'm going to come over here to the retouching tool, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. And I'm just going to paint over this little scratch, and that's going to sample somewhere over here to the left. So I will replace that. Let me close out my masking bug, come back into it. change of plans. I'm just going to use the perfect eraser just to make my life a little bit easier. And of course, I have the AI tool selected here, so I don't need that one. I think the basic eraser will do just fine for what I want to do with this. So I'm just going to paint over this, and we'll let ON1 look at it and get rid of everything. That did a good job there. And I'm not going to get like super granular with the edits in this particular image, but you can get extremely granular. So what I am going to do though is get rid of these little pieces that are sticking up on the bottle. So off of the belt right in front of the bottle. All right, so now that those pieces are gone, I'm gonna just get rid of some little specks here, and simple cleanup job. I think that's good to go there. I'm gonna hit Command and 0 to bring me out to the fit view so I can take a look at the entire image, make sure that I'm not missing anything. And I think that this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the before and after. To do that, if you're not familiar, you can come over to the layers pane, find the layer that you're working on, click this little downward arrow, and the very top option is retouching. If you have this little circle filled in, then that means that you're looking at the retouched version of your image. If I turn this off by unchecking that bubble, it's going to bring back all those scratches, and I can see what's happening here. And then I can turn this back on and just take a look at it. And I think that I did a pretty good job, so I'm ready to move on to my next phase. I think the next aspect is really to bring out the light that's hitting these bottles. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add new adjustment. I'm going to use the letter M to grab my masking bug again, and this time I'm going to go with center, and I'm pretty sure that's backwards. Why did that choose a gradient? Let's erase that, and then we're going to click on center, and I guess we'll have to go with edges, and let's reset this mask so that way it's not doing anything. And now we'll apply this, and there we go. So it is edges that I wanted. That's darkening everything on these bottles, but I said that I wanted to bring out the highlights. So I'm actually going to do this for each bottle. So I'll just make a gradient mask right over the brightest portion of the bottle here. Maybe make it a little bit taller and fade that away like so. And then what I'm going to do is go the opposite direction. Instead of negative exposure, I'm going to add in some exposure just to help with that brightening effect, just like so. And this is essentially just dodging and burning. So, nothing fancy here. Maybe even push the whites just a little bit more. And what that's doing is it's helping build a little bit more tension in the frame and bring attention to the overall product. Then what I'm going to do is grab another adjustment. We're going to grab another radial gradient because I use a lot of these, and I'm just going to put one right here in this little shadowed area, and you can see what effect this is having immediately, and it's just adding in some depth to the image. Now I do need to shrink this down because the goal here is to make this, and maybe even feather this in just a little bit more, and then we'll go more length on it, maybe like that. And don't worry, I'm going to really tailor this a little bit better. So you can see it's just adding in like a shadow light that wasn't there, and that's okay, but it's way too strong. So what I'm going to do is probably back this off to about negative 0.3. So if I turn this off and turn it on, you can see how it's just adding a little bit more contour to the bottle. So it's helping the bottle develop its shape. And that's kind of the goal here, is giving this image a little bit more character and defining the shapes on these bottles. I think you could tell that it's round to begin with, but when you make areas a little bit darker, it adds in depth. So that's what I'm going to go with here. And now what I think this needs, I'm just looking at the image to make sure everything that I would expect to have worked out on here is working at. I think that's pretty good. So let's just take a look at a before and after. So this is where we started, and this is where we've come so far. Now, what I'm also seeing is the background probably could deal with a little bit more desaturation. So I'm going to go with add adjustment. And this time I am going to, let's see if we can use a AI tool. So we'll go ahead and click on the mask. That's going to activate our masking properties. And then I'm just going to click on region and hover over background. This actually does a pretty good job. It's going to need some cleanup, but I can clean this up after I make the mask. So I'm going to go with background to apply this. I'm going to leave it set to paint, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit apply. So everything is going to get dark at first, and that's not what I want to do. I don't really care to make things darker in the background like that. That's not my goal. In fact, I may leave a little bit of negative exposure, and all the areas where it bled over, it's not really impacting the image in the way that I thought it would. So I may even leave the background selection as it is. If I hit the letter O, you can see what that looks like. And it actually cut out things pretty well. It had some bleed over down here at one point, but it didn't actually show up in the final mask. So I'm okay with that. But what I want to do is pull down on the saturation. I want that background to look far less saturated. And what that does is it helps make the product, which is already pretty grayscale, right? It's gray and black. And it helps that product pop off of the background even more. So I've made contrast separation, and then I've also made tonal separation, and now saturation. So let me restate that. So at first I started with negative exposure. That's going to be luminance separation. And then I also desaturated the image a little bit in the background, and that's going to be the saturation separation. So it helps with making the products stand out just a little bit. So now that I've done all of these adjustments, it's time to apply a style to help really bring this image home. And this is probably pretty good for like commercial use or things of that sort. But I want to go a little bit further and get a little bit more creative because it's my image. It's stuff that I purchased and just decided to photograph for a still life product type theme. So we'll come over here to effects, and I am going to add in a glow, and we're just going to crank that up. And you can see how that makes it look a little bit more luxurious, if you will. I don't know if that's the best way of saying it, but you know, it still gives it a little bit more of a warmer feel. And speaking of a warmer feel, what I'm going to do is go ahead and make this look a little bit warmer by adding in a photo filter, changing the color over here to a warm tone, or warm color I should say, on the right side of the color wheel. So something in the red orange category is probably going to do just fine. And then I'm going to pull down on the amount because I don't need a whole lot of it, and I also don't need this all over the image. I only need it in the darkest areas. So there's a few ways that you can get this into just the darkest areas because I want to warm up the shadows. That's kind of the style that I'm going for. So one way is I can come up here to masking, and I can select the luminosity mask. So this is going to select the brightest areas, but I want the opposite of that. So first I want to hone this in on just the bright areas, so that way I can make it inverted, right? And the way that you refine this mask is by coming up to the masking tools and then coming down to window, and I'm just going to pull up on the window until just the brightest areas are selected. So probably somewhere around here is good because that's the light on the bottle and then the light on this label here. So all of that looks pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is come back to masking and hit the invert button. This is just one of the ways that you could do this. So I'm going to invert it, and now I'm selecting all of those darker areas. I'm going to hit the letter O, and we can see what this is doing over the entire image. So if I turn this off and then turn it back on, you can see how this is just impacting just the darker areas, not the brightest areas. And then I can also fade the opacity of this, so it's more of a perceived color look as opposed to an aggressive color tone. And a lot of photo editing is really all about being subtle. So that's what I think I'm going to do here. And honestly, those are probably the only two things that I would add to this image. I could go overboard and add in a ton of extra filters here, but that's not really the style that I want to go for. So smash the like button if you found value in today's video. And if you want to learn more about ON1 Photo RAW, consider signing up for a training call with me. The link for that is down in the description box below. If you want to pick up ON1 Photo RAW or shop over at the ON1 store, consider using the affiliate link down in the description box below. I make a small commission from everyone who uses that link, but that's at no extra charge to you, and it's a great way of supporting this channel. I greatly appreciate it. Leave your questions down in the comment section below, and until next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.